Well, hello and welcome to the first ever official and public episode of Between the Banter, our podcast. So, this episode will be our basically a little bit of an introduction, and then we'll get into our experiences with school exams and then camp. So, quite a busy week. Just
2 weeks.
2 weeks actually. Yeah, something familiar, something recent, but we'll just go around introducing ourselves quickly. So, I'm Taffa. I'll be one of the hosts for Between the Banter.
You'll probably be here for like every episode.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
I'm Oscar. I'll probably be here for a majority of the episodes. Who's breathing into the mic? I'll probably be here for a majority, but not every single one. And then we'll move to Cormac.
And I'm Mac, the famous YouTuber slash montage editor. You might know me for my race car and edit. New video coming out. A new video coming out next week. Yes.
Some big names in the podcast.
Yeah, big names.
And I am Saboda.
The energy from this room, I can't take it. It's you just go a bit closer. All right. So
just reminding everyone to speak into the microphone.
We're still in early stages, so if you have any suggestions for us, feel free to DM or comment or
Let's get sponsored.
get in contact. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're the one guy watching us, you should sponsor.
It's probably going to be the guy who owns Raid Shadow Legends.
So we're still in early stages. Feel free to suggest anything. We're open to change and whatever. We're done with instructions. So our experiences of exams and camp.
So for context, over the past 2 weeks, we've had an exam block, which was 8 90-minute exams in 1 week, and we've just come back from camp.
Because we had exams together. Why would they do it deliberately? They did it deliberately.
Yeah.
But together in a week, but not officially. Like this one was officially. We went in a big room with. It's very boring. It's so boring.
Study periods killed me. I was just looking at the clock. I did 20 minutes of history, and then I was like, there's another 70 minutes. I can't do this, it's too much. And I was just in the corner, I bet I didn't know. Well, you know what? I did learn something this period, and that is the ceiling of the gym is made out of straw.
Yeah, there was straw on my desk for my first year exam. There was just straw on my desk that had clearly fall out of the sky.
Honestly, for the entire week of the exam block and camp, I didn't get to listen to any music, didn't get to play any games.
First world problems, ladies and gentlemen.
I was just listening to my notes on repeat, studying. I had training and everything. I came back from camp after that, and all I wanted to do was just relax and listen to music, and that's all I wanted to do. But I had to go to training because the school thinks it's a good idea to bring us on a reflection day the day after we come back from a camp, and then we also have training that afternoon, so it's just...
Yeah, busy 2 weeks.
Very busy.
Yeah, there was actually
time to
quite a lot of
unwind.
stress on us.
I don't know why. I'm pretty sure.
Oscar's hair's turning grey.
Exactly, that's how stressful it was.
I can see it falling off.
The education system sees nothing wrong with this.
I actually felt no stress. I know it sounds weird, but the most stress I felt was pressure during the exam to get it done. I was never even though I probably it's the way we're taught, it makes it seem like we should be stressed or we should put pressure on ourselves, but I found that it's just so much easier when there's I had it sounds weird, but I had no stress, and that I still cared about it and I still studied and tried, but it's just really weird just going in there with a clear headspace. I thought it was...
I was a bit stressed during the maths exam, but when our maths coordinator walked into my desk and kicked it a meter away, I was like, wait, what? He just kicks it away, he comes back, he moves the desk, he's like, oh, sorry, I'm so sorry, please, let me forget, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's alright, sir, I got it. He's like, I'm so sorry, please, I'll never do it again, I'm sorry. I was like, sir, it's not that deep. Sorry, he just take it back, give you an extra minute on the exam afterwards, I'm so sorry. And I was like... I don't. Okay, whatever, that works.
I'm gonna be completely realistic on what it's like on a sort of windy afternoon. On Thursday, I wasn't very happy, to be honest, because I just so much stuff had been happening. I didn't have the time, just to chillax. It was very annoying how they had camp straight after the exam block, and there was so many things at camp that I just got completely agitated at.
Camp is supposed to be a
Like a leisure, basically, like a break.
a well-being
Relax,
thing.
Yeah,
activity.
well-being thing.
Yeah, well,
Which it kind of was, but
it kind of was, yeah. But I was expecting to get a bit more of a challenge there.
I like your comment about the stress though. I got the same feeling, but in a different way. Really, when you get there and you're doing stuff like that, and you're really stressed about exams coming
Which
on.
a lot we saw that a lot of kids were.
Yeah, but
and-
it's really, you can't really be stressed for 24 hours of 7 days a week. Like, you can't physically, your body cannot do that. So you
Watch
just
me.
kind of, you get into this state where it's like, oh,
Like you just
I've got a
accept
test
it.
now.
I just like the way I did it was just like, firstly, the teachers and those coordinating the exams themselves, but it made it seem like as though, obviously these exams are important. We're in year 9. It's slowly getting towards, towards the end of our schooling. But they did make it seem like this was
You
it was
couldn't
going
do
to
a
make
HSC
or
if
break
you didn't do
our
this.
marks. This was leading to our HSC. Like, obviously it's important, but I think as long as you knew it was important, and as long as you studied and did what you were supposed to, like regurgitated what you learnt, hopefully, that you'd be good. But I think it was more specific to the teachers that ran it. I think that was the main thing. But I think if they had been more, this is important, and like let us be more independent in finding. I feel like when this is more like more general, but if someone was to like drill something into you, it's not as effective as if they mention
Drill
it
something into your teeth. Pretend you are a dentist in this exam, kid.
many layers to that
We've got
joke.
many
that probably makes
comments.
no
You
sense.
sit
but
at the exam like this.
Yeah, we got a
If
lot
you
of
have an issue,
shouting
I
teachers.
will help you.
there's
If you cannot sit still,
probably makes no sense.
an
All
hour.
these comments, but if you were there, you'd understand. But
Mr. C and his screaming, it's just so...
Mr. C.
C.
Wow, no one calls him that, but yeah, we. What was I
Obviously
saying?
to hide their identity.
Yeah. But yeah, I find it more effective if you find it out yourself, because when you find it out yourself, you do it through an experience that's more relatable to you, rather than someone just telling you, this is important. Sorry, so Matthew just made a interesting thing out of my tripod.
He just
Sorry.
made a two meat. He just made a 2 meat and a vegetable out of the
Yeah,
tripod.
it's just an eggplant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't.
It's hard to focus
As you
on that
can
just
tell,
right
I'll be
there.
the comic relief of this.
Yeah, I find it, and I found that out more organically previously, but I feel kids these days, yeah, I just found it, like, I don't know, I think it was just through the experience of tests in general that there's only so much you can do. Like, once because we basically had to line up outside of the gymnasium, which was on the oval. So once you're on the oval and you're lined up and you have to be silent, like, you don't have any notes, you're just in your head. So, like, obviously you do what you can before that, but once you're there, I think the difference, obviously studying's important. I'm not, like, studying's important, but I think a really good mindset. I'm trying to justify not studying, but I study.
I didn't study at all, but it makes sense because...
obviously you study, but this is more like when you're in the exam, like you realize it's important, you study because of it, and once you're there, you just accept that there's only so much you can do. It's a piece of paper and a pen. You do what you can with that, and it's not the end of the world. Obviously, things like HSC or what's the equivalent in other states?
England
IPT?
is GCSE.
IPT.
Wait, no, that's
It's just a bunch
that's
of
a subject.
acronyms.
Finals.
It's a
in
bunch
America.
of acronyms.
Finals.
YMCA.
I don't think it's
yeah.
finals. I think it's GPA.
No, it's
Isn't that British?
GSCA.
No, it's GPA.
What's the thing in London?
GBD, gross domestic.
OWCA.
Just
GST.
all the other acronyms of the world. I can't really say the same because
In Mother
there's
Russia, you
level
have
of
no
significance
high school leaving
and-
certificate.
but I think stress is different to nervousness because nervousness is usually lesser, but it shows that you care. But stress is more like Meerkat is
Continuing to
Yeah.
flaunt his
No.
creation to us.
yes
You know,
As
the-
we're trying to concentrate on talking.
yeah
the only exam I didn't finish was the art exam, and the final question for that we had to reference like 4 sources, and it was just I just couldn't do it. I finished the the first 2 questions. I finished them. You know, the double Elvis one and the one
this
before
probably
that
makes
was
no
quite
sense.
easy.
But basically in the art exam, we have
But is art even an examinable thing? As we're currently
Shut
doing
up!
in
You do
philosophy-
photography.
As we're doing in philosophy
I do
right
both.
now, what is art? You know, art. It's
Yeah.
subjective.
It's that.
aesthetics. This could be worth $1 million one day.
Yeah. So, Cormac referenced the double Elvis. It was just basically with art subjects, so art and photography, both of which I do. We only allowed 2 electives.
First world problems with Dominic Taffer.
I worded it like only, but I do enjoy both.
It's like how Taffy's trying to put context to all the
Yeah,
random comments
all the
that Matthew,
random trash.
comments that
just like-
Matthew and Sabota and Cormac
Yeah,
are just putting in.
we have to like reference with the art and whatever. We have to reference pictures and stuff. So,
What did you say for the Sorry. What did you say for the first artwork?
bro, I don't even remember what was that.
I said it like showed elements of like chaos and
Oh, yeah,
movement
something like
and
that.
stuff.
I don't
And
know.
then for the double Elvis,
I never remember what I do. I just do it.
the double
It's really
Elvis
weird.
thing, I said stuff about like how Hollywood wants Elvis to be
Yeah.
like 2 people at once.
Yeah, it
Oh,
sounds
wow.
it sounds all like
Yeah,
abstract, but
in
it's
art, you
surprisingly
can
like
basically say
studyable.
a bunch. In
That's
art,
a
you can
word.
basically just say a bunch of BS and still get good marks. But I don't think I'm gonna pass this test because the final question was worth 12 marks, and I only did like a paragraph of it.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't finish the history
yeah.
exam.
yeah, neither did I.
I hate when they just give us so little time.
Our history teacher said that the history exam was designed not to be hard, but to be time pressing. So
Yeah,
that's
that
why.
is hard.
You know,
I didn't realize there was a question on the back page, and I just had one.
I need like a couple more sentences on the back. But
Yeah, I know,
history,
I didn't
the
realize
history
that.
department in our school, they're very good.
You
All the
know,
teachers
So it's
are
not
very
their
good.
fault. It's
No,
just,
it's not. It's just like it's hard to tell because, especially because we have 180 or so kids in our year group. That's a lot of kids. With I guess history split with geo, but when you assess, it's hard to like
ew,
put yourself
geo.
in the
Geo is
shoes
such a
of
bad
teachers
subject.
because I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to deal with. What was I saying? Oh yeah, when you have to assess so many kids, it's hard to judge how long they'll do. But I felt most exams were pretty good. I felt the history exam was a good exam. We just didn't get enough time. Like the questions were good.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm really mad about the religion exam. I memorized
don't
8
remember it.
quotes. I was expecting that it would be
Yeah, everyone
like,
was
so much
memorizing
harder.
quotes. I'm like, they're not going to put it in.
They
and
gave us
didn't.
quotes. They gave us quotes in the exam. I
Yeah.
only used 2 of my quotes, and I had to make up a study for restorative justice, like I was doing debating.
What other exams were there? I'm just trying to think.
people even want to listen
It's-
about it. our
yeah,
exams.
but
it's more about the experience.
This is just
of the
us
exams.
venting about how we don't like exams. Wow, what's new? Yeah, okay, well, let's move to camp. I think that we've...
Camp's more exciting, you know.
Yeah.
We're actually doing physical stuff.
Physical stuff. We're boys.
Physically
we're
getting
men, we
dragged
wanna
out
run
of a
around.
tent by a teacher.
Ah, yes, physical stuff,
So,
including doing map activities for the entire day.
Oh yes.
And then the most exciting thing being frisbee and making beats.
See, the thing is that me and Cormac, we got into the lowest camp group.
Yeah, so the camp groups are rated in physical ability, but I'm not sure how they grade it. I think it might be like an observational mark. Sorry if you're listening, if you have no idea what's happening.
It's just for the
trying to provide
people
we can
context
only
to
do
something
we
that
can
we all
only,
know.
yeah, we can only say so
All
much.
right, let's discuss the first night.
Oh yeah, so just for
Oh,
just
yeah.
a quick bit of context, intro to camp. So, about our school has a pretty long relationship with the camp that we went to.
Which is very unfortunate for us.
Hey, it's
Alright.
it's a good camp in
It
the
is
right.
not a good camp. It is a great site, but the camp itself isn't.
I
that
think
good.
it
if
was.
you look at their reviews, they're like
Oh,
barely
no.
a 2.5 out of 5.
No, the reviews
the
are very
reviews are all
odd
kids just mucking around on Google reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the first night was super fun.
Yeah, so our camp we had
So
two nights.
there was a
Good night.
tent
Yeah,
at
two
the other campsite right next to us, who ZC owned, and he was inside the tent, you know, and he had Uno. Oh, I
Uno's the
think
best.
Matthew had
Also,
it. Sabota had it.
Never play pick up,
Yeah.
put down.
And then so it was ZC, Oscar, me, Matthew, and then CR,
Resi.
and then CR, and we went into that We went into the
Sorry
tent.
again for the initials.
We
I'm
were
sure
trying
you
to
probably
play-
these people
we were
probably
trying
end
to
up being
play
on
Uno.
it on the podcast.
And then Dozzy himself comes out, and
The camp instructor.
yeah, I had already been out of the tent because
So-
I had to go get my shoe back.
He the camp instructor.
Wait, let's
finds-
Oscar is the best view of
The
this.
camp instructor. I'll just give you a brief overview. The camp instructor finds like 6 kids in one meter cubic tent, and then he loses his balls, and then he drags multiple children out and yells.
All right,
at
let's
them.
listen to Oscar's
I just got.
perspective.
I was like, "Sir, I'm just gonna go brush my teeth," and he was like, "Okay, quickly go." And then I snuck out through the back of the tent before he realized there
We're
were
making
more
our
in there.
school seem pretty bad, aren't we?
The camp's terrible. We had exams, and all the teachers yelled at us.
No, we like our school.
All right, Oscar's perspective.
Cormac had to go do something. I don't know. I think someone.
I was trying to get my shoe back.
I think it was a kind of a stroke of good luck that Cormac lost his shoes. Like, obviously it's not lucky, but he managed to escape what happened. Sabota had to go for some reason. What did you have to do again? You had to.
I saw him coming and I could hear him yelling, so I was like, I gotta quickly brush my teeth.
I think Rezi was hiding inside the
He'll end up being on the podcast, so we can
Yeah,
say
we
his
can say
name.
his name. Was hiding in the tent, and he just was trying to find his shoes. I'm pretty sure someone took that as well. But for some reason, I became the like the center of the camp instructors.
Focused rage.
He's looking very angry, and ZC acting like nothing even happened. He just goes, "Oh, hey Dozzy, how are we?" And then I think that was the tipping point. He got so angry at that, he just starts screaming at us, and he goes, "Oh you!" And he's pointing at me. He's like, "You, go wait down at the veranda or whatever." And I go down there. I'm a bit
These
nervous.
chips are really good, Sabota. Thank you for bringing them.
Good job, Sabota. So he just starts screaming, and he just sends me down. They both come down to me, and then he just starts just yelling at me for doing all this random stuff, whatever. And he gets really angry, and I'm really nervous now. And then he says like, "Oh, I'm gonna report you to the higher ups and stuff." And it's actually making me quite nervous. You know, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to come back on Friday. He's just like, "All right, I'm gonna get your name after this." But lucky for me, he forgets.
Is there a punchline to this?
Nah, there's no punchline.
Oh.
This is not a funny story. This is quite tragic,
Oof.
with a good ending though.
How does a tragedy have a good ending? I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, he forgets to ask for my name, and he sends me off. So I'm like walking away, really hoping he doesn't remember that. And then yeah, I just
His
sleep.
name is Roger Bannister.
My name's Roger Bannister. Yes. But anyway, so he sends me off, and the next day he asked ZC, which is our friend, the camp instructor, asked him for my name, but like he just doesn't say anything. He goes, "Oh yeah, I don't have to give you that information," and he practically saved me from getting in trouble.
The
So,
wrath of the
Thank you,
camp.
ZC.
from the ref. Yeah.
And
So-
there's another event with a guy called Mr. J after that event.
Yeah, so after
Right.
at that
So-
night, when I went back to my tent, something else happened because
Right, so
we're all
during-
very
yeah.
troublemakers.
So during the day, I was talking
Low-key
about how I
troublemakers,
wanted to go to
yeah,
Sabota's
troublemakers.
tent, shine my torch in, and then pretend I was a ranger. And man, I was just like, "Oi, Corso, I reckon I could do a good authority impression." And I just proceeded to do one. And then it was just like, "Yeah, that'd be funny as." All right, so I go into my tent at night, and this is where it picks up. I just hear Corso say, "Oh, Cormac, your authority impression is so realistic."
Whoa, we gotta go
And I
back
do
a
an
bit.
authority
You've
impression.
forgotten a big
But
part of the story.
Oscar had a different perspective, and he can tell it to us now.
Well, see, it's quite different. There's a triangle of tents, and mine is like in the middle of it. So I'm hearing everything. I know everything that's happening, and the people around me are just talking. So that's Cormac, Corso, and someone else. I'll call it JW, and they're just talking quite loudly. You know, disturbing the entire area. But you know, we're all fine with it. It's all right. And then the teacher, Mr. J, he comes over, and he just takes out JW, and he just starts screaming. It's like, "Oh, if you don't do this, you have to wait out in the rain," or whatever. And he's got like this deep authority voice, you know, and he's quite intimidating. He just said whatever. He lets JW off and lets him go. Like 20 seconds later, Corso just goes, "Oi, Cormac, good authority impression," because he's completely oblivious to what actually happened. So Cormac and Corso just after that just start singing together, like really loudly. So he comes back while they're still singing and opens up Corso's tent, drags him out, and just goes, "None of that. You have to wait in the rain." Cormac just goes silent. He's trying to get away with this. Corso's just waiting in the rain, and Mr. J comes to my tent, and I haven't even done anything. I'm just listening, like, to this stupidity. And he comes into my tent because he thinks that I'm talking to Corso, who is next to me, and he opens my tent and drags me out and goes, "Oh, stop singing," or whatever. And I just want to say Cormac is quite silent during this, letting me get in trouble for what he did. But I was like, oh, I was kind of scared. I'm like, oh no, sir, I didn't do anything, no. And then he's like, "Oh, okay." Eventually figures out it's Cormac, and Cormac gets in trouble. And he can tell you what happened to him when he gets dragged out of
I
his
was just
tent.
out there, and he's just like, "You reckon this is fair on the other kids? They're trying to sleep, and I'm trying to do my job. So go back into your tent and don't make any noise."
Our school's pretty good at like holding off. Like you could say we're bad, but we're nothing compared to other schools. Like if you go into our school, like you're gonna think, "Oh, I'm not seeing any big bullies throwing stones at orphans. I think we're doing pretty good." Like that's kind of the sad standard we've been given to what they think we are. Like the teenage bullying stereotype is, okay, we throw stones at orphans in day, and at night we message them mean things. Like that's what they think we do, and it's just like, no.
It's hard to tell. I guess it's all dependent on interaction. I think there's good and bad in everyone.
Yeah.
Some more bad and some more good in some people.
Even though it's funny, we all make fun of it, but when our year coordinator told us about this concept of mob mentality, people being
Sir, Mr. Penis, sir.
Shut up, Sabo.
randomly, but like it actually makes sense. People do act different when they're in groups, and some people are actually genuinely nice, but when
yes.
they're in groups,
It
they're
was-
just
It was
become
mostly just
monkeys.
It was mostly he was trying to explain, which is it's a very reasonable. I really like Mr. K.
Yeah. It's really good.
He's very everyone wants to have him as the year coordinator. But he was trying to explain basically at this age especially, you tend to act very differently when in a group, and often with bad influence, you can just a big group of badly influenced kids never ends well. So I think there's definitely truth to what Mr. K is saying. I definitely respect Mr. K. He's done a good job with everything.
That's why I think that our maturity isn't growing when we're younger, where it's decreasing rather.
Yeah, I think exposure
when
to
I said
things.
maturity, I kind of misspoke. I mean like people
Innocence.
Innocence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
innocence.
People losing
I think
innocence.
maturity is like
because
I think I see maturity as a good thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a
maturity is when you
like
like
understanding of yourself. kind
yeah,
of.
maturity is when like a man he grows to an age where his
Or a woman.
Yeah, well, in our
yeah, well,
In
in
our
our
schools,
context, yeah, when a man grows, he has good morals, he knows what he has to do in life, he's good to hang out with, and he's always knows when to joke and when not to joke, what to joke about and what not to joke about.
Yeah, I think all these things are triggered by someone not popular, but someone you might watch or listen to or something doing something like that and seeing that as a good thing. I think there's a lot of lack of self-judgment with these type of things. But let's get back to camp. This is still we kind of got off
we
track.
went off a tangent.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just a tangent.
Just a little,
A little bit.
because I was in it. I saw you guys
Once.
once.
Second night for camp was actually so funny. We were next to TP and FP's group, and TP and I watched FP try to light a fire for like 40 minutes straight. He just couldn't get the fire lit. I had to go in, get sticks, give it to him, and yet he still tried using bark and toilet paper.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe that camp instructor was right treating you how she was like she needed to treat babies. It took him 40 minutes to
Well,
light a
that
fire.
was FP wasn't in our group, so
We were all judging FP from no one was helping.
Yeah,
Everyone was
and
just
everyone was
judging
also,
him,
it
not
was-
even helping though. And
was-
it's just like, oh, dude, at least help a bit.
So can I talk about my because my group is
yeah,
I
quite
actually
separate.
don't know
Go.
much.
Yeah.
We don't know much.
So
about what
I
happened
was
in Taffa.
my group was one of the higher because your guys I don't know how but Oscar and Cormac you two got in the lower one.
Yeah.
Yay.
I was in upper average.
Yeah.
He's good at swimming, Sabota.
Yeah.
He
Upper
can swim
middle,
like Sabota can swim 100 meters
Oh my gosh,
in
this
3
kid can
seconds.
swim.
Like a dolphin.
Yeah, this kid's swimming squad or whatever. So I was in a higher group, which isn't. You think it'd be good because you get to all the fun stuff, but it ends up just being hiking and canoeing. But those things sound cool. Like you're on the somewhere there. I don't know. It's just in the wild somewhere. You're peacefully no like cars or buses. Just you on the river. Just
Until our camp group, who were kayaking on the first day kayaks passed, and we were kayaking with the year coordinator, Mr. K, and then he had this round brimmed hat, and he flipped it upwards to make it look like a sailor's hat. So when we were just in the middle of kayaking, he just decides to get up on one knee on his kayak, just point forward with his sailor hat, and just go, "Onwards, boys!" and just carry, everyone just speeds up. It was so funny.
Honestly, if Oscar and I could do kayaking, if Oscar and I could have done
and
kayaking,
canoeing
we
is
would
different,
have.
isn't it? Kayaking is one, canoeing is two.
Kayaking.
I have
canoe,
no
the whole
idea.
thing's
Canoeing.
hollow.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
we really wanted to do that, but our
Me and Rezi were so good at that. We were like ahead by at least 100 meters of everyone else. It was so good.
That's 'cause
honestly,
you can swim,
if-
Sabota.
if
You're probably
we
at
were
the
in-
back of the kayak.
if we were in
or whatever.
Sabota if we were in
This is
Sabota and Rezi's group, it would have been so much better.
Yeah, I found it really fun when we ran into
each other.
ran into it. Not as in we did actually run into each other, but as in saw each other and passed each other. Did I see? I don't think I saw either of you two, your groups. Did I?
You saw me and Cormac.
No, in
Couple
canoeing.
times. Oh,
No,
wait, you passed people canoeing? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we passed FP.
Then
We saw SM.
Oh yeah. Do you guys have to bring your rucksacks there?
We did.
We didn't even have
The
rucksacks.
rucksacks is basically a big hiking backpack thing. We
Yeah.
need to carry the whole time. So you'd think it'd be nice just on the Colo River, just peacefully rowing. But when we did the first day we did it. This sounds arguing again, but canoeing's fun. We did 8Ks on 7. I think about 7 Ks.
That's
on the Colo River.
472 American bald eagles.
What is that?
Just giving the Americans some context for the measurement.
Do they know what a bald eagle, the length of a bald eagle?
I mean, that's probably what they measure in that, or maybe 912 McDonald's burgers.
Yeah, I know.
Something like
They definitely know the length of that.
That's not how it works. If you
Bald
think
eagles-
about it,
That's
No,
the.
I reckon it was 42 bald eagles per mile or something like that.
I don't even know what they mean. Yeah. So you
That's
think,
the system they use, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
They use
Bald
those-
eagles.
They use the
bald
bald eagles and
Maccas.
burgers.
That's not stereotypical or anything. Yeah. So we're on the. I was with Big Turs. We can't. Yeah, he's gonna be next.
Yeah.
Is it next week?
We've already said those.
Yeah.
Next week.
Or next episode.
Next episode.
I think
Honestly,
that's a great song.
Honestly, I'm actually so disappointed in my camp experience. Like we had I'm just. Oscar and I had a better camp experience than other groups, like other higher up groups. But we still didn't get to, experience a full experience.
think
We
that's-
didn't-
Yeah, part of
Speaking-
experiencing camp is supposed to be a bit of bad. Like it's supposed
Speaking
to
of
be.
a bit of
you
bad.
want to feel terrible by the end of the day at camp. You want to feel
Like
like
it's-
you've been through hell.
It's just what it is.
But
Yeah,
it's good
I
in a
I
way.
want
It
I
is what
want
it
I wanted a challenge. I always just offered to carry bags with me when we walked and when we walked to other
Oh
activities.
yeah.
Just so I can make it harder on myself.
Was that the only hiking
wanted
you did?
I wanted
They
to
did one
make
hike at the end of the day.
I
One
wanted to
hike.
make it
How
as
long?
hard as possible for
Okay,
myself.
say that later.
I wanted to carry rucksacks. I wanted to.
Backpack.
It-
That's another thing with
See, it's
too much context.
It's you actually with camp. There's no point on doing camp if it's easy. Camp is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be in the wilderness. You're supposed to.
Speaking of the wilderness, we were at our campsite on the second night, and I was just walking past this fence because we were in the middle of a paddock.
is this the horse?
And then this goat
Oh.
just walks past, and I'm like, "Hey, it's a goat. Let's go. It's Michael Jordan." I'm making these goat jokes, and then I start to walk backwards, and it starts rubbing against the barbed wire fence, and everyone's like, "Lol, it wants to kill you, Saboto." And I was like, "Lol," and then I start turn and I walk back to the campsite, and everyone's just looking at me, and I'm like, "What?" I turn around, the goat has crawled under the barbed wire fence and has come into our campsite.
What?
And then no. So then I'm just like, oh geez. And then this goat, it's like it's got horns. And then so I just walked away from it. But everyone was like, camp instructor, what do we do? And he's like, no, this is a domesticated goat. His name is Harvey. He's very chill. So Harvey, legit, we were all
gosh,
sitting around the
Harvey the
campfire. Harvey just walks into just sits next to the campfire. We all start feeding him leaves and we start patting him. And then I'm just like, hold up. I go to my tent. I get a bunch of Uno cards, and then I
Start feeding him
and
the
then
Uno cards.
no, I start playing Uno with him. So I'm just like, hey Harvey, +4. But then he like gets there's an Uno card on the floor, and he just rubs it over the +4. So like we were playing a game of Uno before this, and while that was happening, he would just randomly knock off piles of cards. He would just randomly knock one in every now and again. So we played Uno with a goat. He was
that's
so.
that's a lifetime
Honestly,
highlight. You
I-
play
Yeah.
Uno with a goat.
Honestly, I don't like goats that much. Like really.
Goats.
Goats are the best.
Michael
It's
Jordan's
not
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's not
you
that
think
I'm
they're the
afraid of
devil.
them, but like the amount of like
The
links
Irish.
to it with devil is just like
Irish, yeah.
very I don't know. It's not that I'm scared of him. I just there's like an unsettling feeling when you look into those eyes. Like the eyes are just so weird.
Kind of just a weird sheep. Yeah. So we did the canoeing and then hiking. So this camp is basically near the river is the mountains here near this big river. It's actually really clean. Apparently, it's one of the cleanest rivers.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound.
No, in the state.
Okay, maybe.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, hiking. So it just goes over these hills and mountains, or whatever. But they think because we're the fit group or whatever, that we shouldn't do anything fun. We should just hike and canoe the whole time. The only non thing we did, the non traveling thing, which is canoeing and hiking, was crate stacking. Did you guys do crate stacking?
We did
We didn't
abseiling.
do that.
I love abseiling.
Abseiling was good.
Um,
Just me and the boys jumping off a cliff together.
sorry, Oscar just showed me something. What was I saying? Oh yeah, crate stacking. So a lot of activities we use harnesses and get heights, which I think it's good for a lot of kids to experience it, because obviously a lot of people are scared of heights. I'm probably kind of a bit like iffy with heights, but these activities help. So crate stacking is basically you're on a harness and there's milk crates, like they're just milk crates. I don't know how
It's
else.
kind of in the name. You stack milk crates. Milk crate
I don't
stacking.
know how to describe milk crates.
It's
like, they're
okay.
just
You
milk
describe
crates.
it as a milk
Yeah,
crate.
they're milk crates.
A crate that carries milk. It's legit in the name.
Yeah. All right. So we have 2 piles, and then you alternate between them, and you see how high you can get with the harness on. So that, because you get really high if you think about it.
If you fell off without a
I
harness,
got
you die.
to 11, I think, and I think Luke P got to 19.
Yeah, it was like a
What?
stats record or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
School record.
Yeah, it was a school record by Big Luke P, which is like I got to 11, and that was the second highest in our group.
Even 11's
I got
pretty
to
high.
10. I got to 10. 11 was the highest. And because it gets really sketchy and wobbly, like you see it tilting. But
You need balance and different.
yeah, I found that. Here's a tip for crate stacking. Get on crate. You squat, like it's really weird, but
Yeah, the closer you are to the ground, to the crates, the
I
less.
bet if you don't know what
wobble.
it is, you're really confused. Don't worry, it's just like
It's hard to imagine.
yeah, it's hard to imagine. But I found
Has anyone here done the high ropes apart from Oscar and I?
I did not do high ropes.
Oh yeah,
High ropes is so good, except the final obstacle was probably the hardest.
yeah.
The final 2 ones, I tried to Tarzan swing on the rope. Ended up getting
no.
rope burn, and then
Yeah, same here.
I had to use just use the tightrope at the bottom of it. I got to the final thing. I fell off it and I got knotted up into like the worst position, and I got out of it by myself, which is actually quite good. But I used up so much energy during that, I just lost a bunch of my balance. So I just kept on falling over
Wait,
and
did you have
over.
any in the first place?
What? What?
Got him.
Cormac took
Got him.
like 10 minutes on the final
Yes.
one, and he held up the line for everyone. So you just had like everyone was because you have
Oh,
to.
there's
wait
only
for the
2
person
other
in front
people,
before you can
Oscar.
move.
2 or 3 other people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
but
I guess
there were
you
2
got
or
the
3
I'll
other people.
feel
That was the
terrible
last
after
group.
camp feeling.
Cormac took so long, like 10, 12 minutes.
The mudslide was actually quite fun, though. But after that, you just walked down and you were just covered in dirt.
Yeah, after you slide into the mud and it's
That's the
incredibly
only
fun.
part of mud. That's the only mud-related part for that entire activity.
Yeah, and then you're just walking around all muddy and it's quite uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
gross.
and I had to help JW push through a log underneath this thing, and I got stuck. I mean I didn't get stuck. I was just there, and I just had to keep on crawling, and everyone else just moved on past. So I was just crawling underneath, and then
Oh yeah, we did just go back in the thing because we wanted to come first because everyone else was so far ahead. So
yeah, they
we
were
got
all
the log.
cheating. So many people were cheating. They just skipped obstacles.
Yeah, no, we want to win fairly, but they ended up winning anyway. So they didn't get anything for it besides the unsatisfaction of cheating and winning.
Summarized, your guys's. How do you say
You guys.
No, as in like
Your experiences.
your.
You
There
don't
we
have
go.
to say guys.
You
Yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah.
had.
Your experiences for camp, because mine was like, because for context, we went to the exact same place, doing very similar things last year.
Not very similar, quite different.
I did like the same things.
Like our hike was so short. The only reason
Yeah,
me
our
and
hike
Cormac
was
got
much
the only reason me and Cormac got a hike that was of a decent length was because the people in front of us got us lost. So we had to go on the side of a cliff
Pass for
and
chips.
there was not a path. So some people were falling over, cutting themselves and things like that. So we had to go on the side of a cliff and walk around just to find the path again. And we managed to find a little split where we could walk back up to the
also,
actual
it
path.
was extremely rainy, so
It slept,
rainy
yeah.
mud and rocks does not help, especially when you have a torn ligament. I had to do a hike with a torn ligament.
Eesh.
I was fine. I had a foot thing, but yeah, it's always like before doing this camp, like even last year, I hadn't really done any major hike. What are you doing? I haven't really done any major hikes or anything. I think it's a good experience. Like, even if you don't even consider doing hikes, like I think even though it's kind of cliche, just being out in nature is cool. I like just doing stuff in the wild, like
It's good for you.
it's good. Yeah, it is actually good for you, like the natural air and the natural sunlight. And
Especially after we've been
Honestly,
in
I'm actually so happy.
studies or
I'm so happy we got detoured, because we went on a much more challenging path in the detour, and we had to like go through much
it's a
more
weird
challenging
satisfaction,
things.
but it's good.
Because I really wanted a challenge, and we got a longer hike, which was great.
Yeah.
I think if you did the hike that we did last year, you wouldn't want it to be longer.
Yeah, I agree.
did
That was a long
18
hike last year.
Ks.
18K hike.
I feel like
Yeah,
people
I was in
exaggerate
Egypt
that a
last year.
lot. This,
No, it was
It was-
legitimately
no,
18K. It took
It
us
was
6
18
hours.
k's.
how do you know it's 18?
Because
An
we were looking
18K
at the
track
map,
is
and the guy
actually.
was like, "Here's 18K, so we're gonna do it. We'll be
I
there."
s-
Because it was
It's-
even more than that, because that's just the length.
It
whereas
sounds like
we're
an
going up
exaggeration.
hills.
No, when you're
no,
going
it's not.
a trek, a hike, and a flat path are extremely different.
We're on a hike.
It took me 8 hours to do a 4.4K trek up and down a mountain, and like
It was just hard. Doesn't
it's
matter.
just, yeah, okay.
It was just really long and hard. But I think it once you do it, it's a weird satisfaction. Like, it's a pretty unique satisfaction because you're really tired and you just want to eat. Or the food was pretty good here.
We had a chef as our camp instructor, so we actually got
Oh,
good
really?
quality food.
Honestly, Oscar and I's camp experience, we can sum it up by, it was good. We made it. We didn't have that large of a challenge, but the best thing was, playing footy with the other teams, with the other groups. Being next to our friends.
Mine was pretty good. I think I had the best round mix of activities.
Yes, Sabodu.
Wasn't too jiggly.
All right, so we've been talking for 52 minutes. Is
Wait,
that
actually,
Very good.
Yeah, we have.
Wow. We're probably
Huh.
gonna cut a little bit out just for various reasons.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah,
the whole with these episodes, we want it to be a natural conversation. We don't want it to be an edited. Obviously,
too much edited?
Yeah, we have certain things that we need to edit out, like names and
We want it to
because
be quite
they
genuine.
do slip out. Yeah. So I think that was enough for camp. I don't really know. I'm sure there's always plenty of stories from camp when you're secluded in the middle of nowhere with
Bunch
your
of friends.
fellow peers.
your peers, your homies, all alone in the dark in the middle of nowhere. Things gonna get sus. Hella sus real fast.
Okay, so
Alright.
Yeah, we'll stop you there.
should have stopped talking a minute ago.
Or an hour ago. Yeah. So thanks for listening to our.
Thank you for the 2 listeners.
yeah,
Actually,
the
no,
two people
Yeah.
out there.
4
People-
listeners. Thank you to my mum for listening.
Let's call out Max Vandermeer right now.
Max,
If you're listening to this,
come
have
home.
fun
I
in
miss
Denmark.
and tell
Or
Noah I
Sweden,
miss him.
He's in Sweden,
It's
and we
so
actually missed you
Sweden.
here.
Yeah,
It's
we
quite. It's
missed you
Yeah,
actually
so
I
so
want
much.
Noah back.
We'll
Come on.
we'll see you next year, though.
And
And
we
you gotta
will.
be able to join us.
You wanted to do a online podcast, like
It could
us
be
here
too
and
late.
you there. We definitely want to do that. And
If
we'll
we get an
definitely
Ethernet
organise
port,
that.
if we get an Ethernet
Yeah, let's just
cable.
install an Ethernet cable.
in my house.
What do you mean an Ethernet cable?
You-
You just have to plug it in directly to the router.
Well, anyway, that's definitely
Gonna
going to be
hack the
something that's
mainframe.
happening.
Well,
I'm excited for
So
that.
yes, thank you for that. There's plenty of more will come. Feel free to comment. All the thing. I'm not going to do that. Just,
Like and subscribe.
Oh,
Please tell
okay,
Raid
no,
Shadow
you had
Legends
to-
about
oh.
us.
Yeah, get a sponsor from
Yeah, yeah.
Shadow Legends.
any sponsors, feel free. We're
Dollar Shave
Really-
Club, Manscaped, anything.
yeah, honey,
honey.
anything, any piece of. If you have a product, just please.
I like how we're
Let's do a
talking about
collab
this.
with
Well,
Logan
we-
Paul
no,
on
in full,
Impulsive.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Amazon Prime, the boys sponsor.
yeah, yeah.
Well, The Boys is so good. You should have watched The Boys.
IKEA.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that's today is a good day. We've got this, and then the Mandalorian season 2 comes out
Oh.
tonight.
But I feel like there's more hype around our first episode than the Mandalorian. There's more hype around
Who
our
cares
first.
about some $1 billion Disney like? Oh, did you see the green screen they use? Like, they just quickly, and it's really off topic, but the way they did the background was they matched the camera to a projector. So half the sets were just projected.
What's this
Oh
for the
my goodness.
Mandalorian?
Like in the exact right angle.
Is this for the Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
Did
that
you
with
see
the
that?
ILM stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
FFL,
basically,
yeah.
and it's really off track. but
Yeah,
this
it's
is
really good.
cool.
It's such good effects.
So basically, they track the camera they
You
use.
could just Google it. I'm sure there's like a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing on Disney
It's really
Plus,
cool. Search it
whatever.
up.
All right,
This-
to not
and
get off a
also-
tangent, let's
also think about for a second. Borat 2 subsequent movie.
Oh,
film.
no.
Oh, Borat
You
2,
didn't do-
Borat
oh,
2
alright.
actually wasn't that great, to be
It was
honest.
still good. It had its moments.
Yeah. Well, who cares about big Hollywood when you've got Between the Banter?
Between the Banter coming out.
Thanks
Alright,
for listening.
alright, boys. Thanks for listening.
More to come.
Oh!
All right, see you then.
I just hit my
Alright.
balls.
Thank you so much, 2 viewers, maybe
Setting
even
up a
5.
Patreon, please.
Yeah.
I'll set up an OnlyFans.
2
for
viewers
Oh,
and
no.
friends. We'll set up our OnlyFans to donate.
say
Yeah.
what he needs to say.
Yeah, don't worry. Thank you for listening. More to come. Give us suggestions, DMs, emails. I think. Yeah, we have.
Or comments.
Your comment.
You know, the
Anything.
actual
We're
inbuilt
open.
function of
We're
YouTube.
we're open to suggestions. No, we can't be on Spotify. That's probably a question. Eventually, hopefully. But for now, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
As Benson once said,
in regular
like
time.
and subscribe or you're fired.